how something is acquired, that's how it's retained. If you acquire knowledge and skills through inquiry, through discipline, and through reflection, that will last you for a life. So when you see high-achieving students know that they can perform, it'll be because they've been exposed. They've been exposed through a rich curriculum, through rich experiences.
Welcome back to Vantage Conversations. Today I'm joined by Mohan Dhall. Mohan is the CEO of the Australian Tutoring Association. He's also the co-founder of the Global Tutoring Association. He's an educator, a researcher, an author, and now one of the members of our Vantage Educational Advisory Board. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So across your career, you have worked across various learning ecosystems. So in your experience, what do you believe it is that helps young people thrive, learn and thrive?
What makes young people learn and thrive is in a foremost capacity being believed out. So that is everything around them in the learning environment supports everything about their learning, socially, emotionally, academically, spiritually. And if a child is coming into a learning environment that recognizes these facets that they have, then they will thrive most. And it'll be the thing that's said by an educator, where they demonstrate belief in a child that they can learn, even when they face struggles, when they don't know how to do something and it can be scaffolded or broken down in a way that gives them confidence to take a first step, then a second step, and then a third step. When they feel, and it's imbued in them, that they can take an academic risk and that is not a failure, then that's when they will thrive. So to me, those are the elements that make a child feel safest and most likely to learn their best.
Fantastic, thank you. So you've worked with thousands of students across many different settings. What is it that you believe sets a high-performing student apart?
A high-performing student, firstly, something within them believes in what they're doing. So they like the work they're doing. They like the sense of achievement and the self-esteem that comes from being their best. Now, how a child knows what is their best and how they can uncover what they can do well requires a range of experiences. So for a child to set themselves apart or to be a high-achieving student, they have to have opportunity. And that opportunity must come across a range of different experiences. So when you see high-achieving students know that they can perform, it'll be because they've been exposed. They've been exposed through a rich curriculum, through rich experiences that sometimes challenge them a little bit, ignite their passion and their interest, engage them in problem solving, and make them feel like what they're doing is meaningful, and it gives them a sense of personal satisfaction and reward to do well and achieve well. That can also be fostered by being around like-minded kids, where there's an expectation that's high, and that expectation that's high drives really strong sense of purpose and what is valued. And those things combined will help kids to really thrive and be their best as learners.
So given that you've now seen the model, Vantage, and the three different streams throughout the day, being inquiry, the explicit teaching model, and then the self-directed model, how do you believe that will then support those learners?
So what I really like about the model is there are some models that say inquiry-based is the way to go, and then others say explicit teaching, and then, some sort of practice. And there's reflective practice trying to be embedded in some models, either before or after the learning experience. But what Vantage does is it says, wait a second, these models of learning that we've often considered either or. And why? Why do we say what's the best of inquiry, what's the best of explicit teaching, and making sure there's subject-based strengths in a reflective environment that expects a child to be their best? When you blend those really cleverly, where there's a cohesion through the day, where there's supported practice, you're going to get the best outcomes. And to me, what that does is it says, doesn't matter who you are as a learner, you'll get the freedom to learn, you'll get the structure to be disciplined, and you'll get the reflective practice to know what works best for you and have one-to-one support. I can't think of a better model.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. I guess as well, what we do quite often in our experiences that we welcome parents to, we talk a lot about the Vantage graduate and what we aspire for the Vantage graduate to look like, or how they might enter the world. So I want you to envision for a second two graduates.
Yep.
One comes out of a conventional system, one that follows the same model that we've followed for hundreds of years, and then one is a Vantage graduate. What do you envision is the difference there?
So here's a really interesting question, right? In asking that question, we frame school and outside of school. Vantage doesn't do that. Vantage says, kids, you're in a context, and that context impacts everything we do. So already you've mediated the barrier because you're encouraging entrepreneurialism. You're saying we're giving an education for life, not just for a living. We're giving an education that is meaningful, not just for the present, but for your future. So in that context, you're saying a Vantage graduate will be confident. They won't experience the kind of wide-eyed, I don't know what the world's about sort of experience. It can be quite confronting to someone's learning. As other graduates, they'll be more confident interacting in a world where ideas are loved and where they know they can back themselves to take an academic risk because that's what a learner does. So to me, there's one really important maxim that applies. To a Vantage graduate. The maxim is how something is acquired, that's how it's retained. If you acquire knowledge and skills through inquiry, through discipline, and through reflection, that will last you for a life. And to me, a Vantage graduate will be unique because I'll characterize that they know who they are as learners and they can navigate the world not finding out who they are, because they already have a great strength and they're well down the path. Now, of course, that doesn't mean they'll be immune to learning, but it'll mean they'll better understand their learning in the context of the world. And I think that's a huge advantage.
Absolutely. I know so many adults, myself included, that reach a certain point in their lives that are just figuring themselves out, learning their strengths and what they can actually contribute to the world. So you are part of the Education Advisory Board, and this opportunity that was extended to you is obviously something that you've chosen to be part of. So I'm curious to understand, what is it about Vantage that allowed you to want to be part of Vantage, or that stood out to you to go, I want to be a part of this?
Okay, so I was approached and there was an interrogation around a model of learning. And I asked questions about the kind of educators. And we had a discussion around educators, and I said, look, it's going to be tricky to attract really good educators to this model because what you're wanting is people who are entrepreneurial in spirit, and that's academically entrepreneurial as well, but also disciplined. And that's a very nuanced mix. But if that's what you're going for, then that's the education that matters.
Yes.
And that was attractive.
Fantastic. And we often get that question a lot from parents and actually from educators. You're offering such a unique model. How do you then attract educators who will be able to teach in this way? And I guess that's why we've been so intentional in how we not only onboard our educators, but how we then create a mindset shift even amongst the education community that we're building. So yes, I'm very grateful for your time and for your responses. We're very much looking forward to having you be a part of Vantage and shaping what the future of Vantage looks like.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for your time.
And I know that on this journey I'll also grow, and that to me makes this journey not one where it's unilateral. We're all in this together.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.